All of a sudden there's a storm arising in that little boat. And it's coming. The wind starts, and all of a sudden you see on the horizon the dark clouds of depression starting to come. And you think, no, it's all right. I'm having a good day. And all of a sudden, as you walk down the steps, holding it all together, you notice 4 beer bottles sitting on your land. And then you remember you just told your wife to sleep in because the pastor's wife's coming in half an hour to visit her. You knew where those beer bottles were from. They were from the next door neighbour, 2 down, because you used to hear him empty them every night about 11 o'clock. Fido decided to bring them to your place. The storm is getting bigger. The frustration's getting worse. This is where we make a decision. What do I do? At that point, we lose it. Fido is banished to the back of the yard for the rest of his life. We get these beer bottles in a plastic bag and we run down the street. By the time we get to work and the boss says, "Hi, how are you, Ryan? Having a good day?" "Yeah." We sit down, we try and work, we try and honour the boss, we try and do things, but things are running through our minds so bad. What's happened? The enemy has stolen our peace. And it happens to all of us. It can happen in church. There'll be some of you here today, when you got up, that you said, "I'm going to have a great day with God." By the time you got here, I remember when we had our little children, and we'd get up, we'd dress them, and we'd say, "Come on, we're going to church." I couldn't wait to go. In Innisfail up in North Queensland, couldn't wait to go. Drive through the cane fields, get the church. It was so great. And just we getting in the car, little David comes around the corner from mud from here to here. And you say, "Oh, Lord." You say to him, "What happened, David?" "Well, I don't know, Daddy. I just walked along the path and the mud just jumped up on me." How can you discipline innocence like that? But at the moment, and you just want to worship God, you just want to go to church. By the time you get there and the pastor up the front says, "So great to be here under the anointing of God. Can't you feel His presence? Raise your hand now, feel that." And you're going, "No, I don't feel nothing." And all of a sudden you're holding that baby you love so much and you're praising and worshipping. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh no. Ever happened to anyone? What happens is our peace then gets drained away. But how come in that boat Jesus just said, "Peace, be still"? And that's what happened. You know, I think there's a secret in coming to a place and just trusting God and saying, "God, I know it's a big problem. I know it's troubling me, but Lord, there must be a place where I can be in that boat and just rest in God and say, God, tomorrow's another day. Today I want to stay happy. I want to do what you want. I want you to help me today." Peace is not necessarily the absence of trouble or the absence of enemies. But we can still have peace when we're in that place. But how do we get it? How do we learn to sleep in the boat or learn to make fun out of a situation that's trying to kill us? Do you hear what I said? How do I make fun out of stress? I remember many years ago I was driving trucks, and this is how I did it. I need to do it more. And I was driving overnighters. Anyone know anything about overnighters? You leave at a certain time, and you've got to arrive at a certain time only because you're carrying milk, bread, mail, papers. They have to be there. Have you ever been late 3 hours with papers and you've got 10 irate paper shop owners waiting? It's not good because they've got another 50 customers waiting and everyone's stressing and everyone's jumping out of the boat and it's all bad. So I was going across to Mount Isa one night and it was late and I was running late because they got me out of the depot 2 hours late. So we're into it. In those days it was very wrong, but I did it. I took the limiter off. It was under the seat because we had to make a few extra miles quickly. Very wrong. But as we went across there and I went across there, I got midway and I was so stressed that I had a headache, a migraine. It was late. It was cold out there in the middle of winter. I didn't know what to do. And my brain was, I was getting tired and fatigued because of worry. You never know you get tired when fatigued and when you're worried. Like, I need to have a sleep to shut this thing out. I'm tired. And I got to a place called Richmond. And I thought, I'm going to talk to my soul. And didn't know the things about talking to your soul, really. And I said, well, brain, I called it then. I said, brain, why are you doing this to me? Why are you worried so much? My body's getting tired. I can't. I'm going to crash this thing. And all of a sudden I thought, well, I'm talking to you. I'm going to tell you what to do. And I said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to get into that halfway house over there, that roadhouse. I'm going to sit down, have some raisin toast and a coffee. I don't care how late I am. My brain said, you can't do that. Don't do that. You'll be late. You'll get the sack. I said, okay. So I went in that halfway house. And I sat down, I had this beautiful cup of coffee. My brain's going, no, don't do it, you're going to be late, the milk's going to go off, the bread. And I thought, I can't care less. I had the cup of coffee and a piece of toast, and I started to play with stress. I said, you want to do this? I'll give you stress. I'm going to take it easy. I walked out of that place it was different. The moon was out. It was good. I felt good again. As soon as I got to the truck, my brain said, now you're going to be late. You've done it. You're going to be late now. You're going to get the sack. I feel like another cup of coffee. Try it. It works 100%. My brain settled down. You know what? If you do it, the enemy's trying to get you like that, he'll back off because there's fruit coming out of what he's trying to put on your life. I remember in Mount Isa once we pioneered a church there, and someone had did something, and I got depressed. The fridge wasn't big enough. I just ate everything in it. That was a mess. And I was there, and the Holy Spirit said, why don't you go and give someone something? I said, I don't want to give anyone anything. I'm depressed. They need to give me something to get me out of this. He said, try it. So I got at that time, something, and I went and gave it to him. I said, here, I'd like to give you this, a blessing. All of a sudden, my soul just was encouraged. I started to lift up. I thought, here's a go. I could do this every time. And the enemy used to come and put me to depression. Oh, thank you, devil. Now I can go and give someone something. He'll back off because there's fruit for God through that. And my soul that night, driving that truck, I tell you what, I got out there. It was one of the best nights. I had the last half of it. One of the best nights I had. I got out there. Everyone was upset. I got there and I said, I had a great night last night. How's everyone here today? Would you like me to put you for the paper? I was so relaxed. But I told my soul where to go. My soul was second. My good being, my welfare was first. And if we can get to that point and say, God, I'm going to get into that boat and peace is going to be on my life. It takes a lot to do. I'm not there yet. There are some things that still upset me. Little things. You notice the little things? I wonder why God said it's a little foxes. We have a little fox running around sometimes trying to bite our heels like a blue heeler, and they upset us. But it must be a point where we must get better and better at those things. You might be here today and you're here and you say, Ron, but that's all right. My husband left me. My wife left me. My kids are out on the street. They're doing this, they're doing that. Yes, that does happen. But I have noticed when Robin and I, one of our children, one of our sons got into a lot of trouble. And I'm not going to go into what it was because I don't want to remember it. It was a lot of trouble. And I remember that I used to stress and I'd try and worry about it. And Robin said to me, I said, Robin, what are we going to do? This is getting worse and worse and everything. And she said, I'm just going to pray and believe God. I'm giving it to God. She said, I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it to God, and I'm going to still be his mum, but I'm going to give it to God. Do you know, within a week it all sorted out? And all the worry I had, we run out of food because I ate it all, so it cost us money. All the times that Robin would come to me and say, sweetheart, would you like a cup of coffee? And I'd say, I don't know. All the times that I had dinner and never got up and said, hey, that was a great dinner you cooked tonight, like I always do, all those times because I was stressed, I was worried, I wasn't showing affection enough. All that, you know, didn't help one little bit. And as after the event, you think, why did I do that? Why did I do that? It's because the boat is rocking in the waves. Why did Jesus sleep on a pillow? I said, God, why did Jesus sleep on a pillow? Why did you put that in there? And I'm just a simple type guy. I look for a simple answer. He said because he had no problem with his soul because he slept on something soft.